So, chapter 18, taberna, shop. So, in this chapter, they formally introduce neuter nouns. We've talked about them already. We've talked about them otherwise. We talked about them with adjectives in particular. But here they formally introduce neuter nouns in the second and the third declension. And we talked before about the two rules: the neuter, the nominal and accusative are the same, and in the plural, the nominal and accusative end in a. Right. Um, Also, in this chapter, they introduce the fourth and fifth declensions. Right? And fourth declension also has neuter, which I either already have or will be giving you a chart for. But the book here doesn't introduce that, so we have to look at that separately. So fourth and fifth declension. The fourth declension, you recall, loves the letter U, and the fifth declension loves the letter E. Right? We went over those forms. So fourth and fifth declension words you've seen actually since the very beginning. You just didn't know they were fourth and fifth because they resembled second and third in the forms that you saw, but actually they were fourth and fifth declension nouns, and now you know. Right. So in this passage, I'm only noticing one fourth or fifth. I have it highlighted. See to there, a fourth declension noun. Verbs, of course, are in red. So let's just go right to that first paragraph. So postquam ad orgam ad venimus ego clementi diu tabernam quarebam, tandem barbilus qui multa edificia possedebat mihi tabernam optimum obtulit. Haec taberna prope templum mi studius erat, in hac parte orbis via est, in qua omnes tabernarii vitrum vendunt. Facile est illis tabernariis mercum vendere, quod vitrum Alexandrinum notissimum est. Taberna, quam barbilus mihi offerebat, optimum situm habebat, optimum lucrum. Barbilus tamen dubitabat. Okay. So, first verb advenimus has that long e. That's a clue that it's perfect. Right. So we arrived after we arrived to the city. All right, comma. I clementi diu tabernam quoribam. So quoribam, that's your verb. I was looking for the accusative tabernam, a shop. Diu is just an adverb for a long time. Clementi is third declension, and of course it is dative here, right? So it's not Clemens' shop or the shop of Clemens. It's not genitive. It's dative. So I was looking for a shop, number 2 or 4 for the dative, if that works. Looking for a shop 2 Clemens. No, a shop 4 Clemens. That makes sense, right? So here I was looking for a shop for Clemens. To you for a long time. So tandem, finally. Barbilus, okay, relative clause. Qui multa edificia possedebat. So relative pronoun, qui, the antecedent is barbilus. So he's masculine singular, so it's qui, not qui or quad, right? So who possessed or had many buildings, right? Edificia must be what gender? Has to be neuter, right? A plural A is neuter, and the plural A is neuter. The nominative and accusative, a neuter plural ends in A, right? So a plural A is going to be neuter. So many buildings. Offered, obtulit, right? Which would come from what first principal part? Offero, right? So remember the irregular verb fero fere tuli latus, right? So with a prefix, offero, offer, right? Offero, offere, obtuli, right? So it becomes OB in front of a T, makes it more pronounceable, I guess. So it comes from offero, so it means offered, right? Tuli is, of course, the perfect stem. So offered. So he offered the accusative the best shop to the dative, to me. Haec taberna prope templum isidis erat. So erat was, what was? Haec taberna. This shop, remember the H words are this or these? This shop was prope near templum isidis. Isidis, of course, is what case? It's genitive, right? A third declension genitive, singular, ending in is, right? It's being linked to templum with the of idea. So near the temple of Isis. In hac parte. So hac parte. Hac from the he echo pronouns. We haven't seen all those forms formally yet, but parte you should recognize here as a third declension noun. What case would that be? The ablative, right? Third declension ablative singular ending in e, and it's the object of a sit space. That's why it's ablative. That's the use of the ablative. Then orbis genitive because it's in this part of the city. in this part of the city, via est, there's a street, in which, so a relative clause here, beginning with in which, right? In which, so clause or relative pronoun, the antecedent is a street, right? Feminine singular. So in which, what? Omnis tabernari e vitrum vendunt. All the shopkeepers sell what a vendor does, right? Sell vitrum, glassware. Right? It is the adjective of the dative, the infinitive. It is easy for those shopkeepers, right? Remember, he, kai, coke, this, but these ill words are going to be that or those, right? And then we also saw iste words for that or those of more of a distancing or even a negative connotation. So it is easy, the adjective for the dative, those shopkeepers to vendere, to sell their wares, merchandise, right? Vendere is an infinitive of what conjugation? Third, right? Short ERE is third. Okay, so quad here, it's going to be because, right? There's not a clear neuter antecedent for it to be which, and plus because is going to sound better if we plug them in. So because vitrum Alexandrinum notissimum est. So because Alexandrian glassware is notissimum. How well known? Very well known. Superlative, right? Notissimum, right? Not just notum. Notissimum, very well known. Taberna, quam barbilis mihi offerivats, our relative clause, modifying taberna, right? Quam is the pronoun, taberna the antecedent, feminine singular. So the shop which barbilis was offering to me, the dative, right? He was offering the accusative, quam, which refers to the shop, to me, the dative, had the optimum situm, right? He had the best location, right? Situm is a fourth declension noun. If you saw it before this chapter, you just would have assumed it was second, right? But it's actually a fourth declension, right? So its genitive is C2, so long US, right? Not CT. So had or has or was having or had the best location and the best profit. I guess it's on a corner or something. Make a lot of money in that store if the stuff below doesn't happen to you. Barbilis, tam and dubataba. Barbilis, whoever was hesitating, was doubtful, right? He says, or he said, inquit, sunt multi operae. There are many thugs. Yeah, an opera is a thug. Keep that in mind, right? You listen to thug music, you have to go listen to opera music. Opera music actually comes from opus, right? Different word, just funny that this is similar. So, multi operae. So there are many thugs, many operas, many thugs. In illa parte, of course, is ablative. Right? We haven't seen all the forms of the ill pronouns yet, but parte is a third declension that we just saw above as an ablative, right? And again, it's the object of a space, so it's not into that part, but it's in that part, genitive of the city. Shopkeepers, operas timent, so they're afraid of operas. They're afraid of thugs. Right? Timent, of course, is what tense? Just present, right? Just present. Right? There's no BA for the imperfect. The perfect stem would have a U. It's certainly not pluperfect. It's just present. So the shopkeepers fear the thugs. Quad here has to be because they extort money. And they inferent, again coming from the pharaoh latus verb with a different prefix here. So pharaoh is bring or carry, right? In or on. So inference is a bring upon, apply, right? Whim, force, right? Whim is an irregular noun, but the M here, vowel plus M, is a clue that it must be the accusative form, right? It comes from vis, means force, right? So because they extort money and they apply or bring upon them force. Operae liberta meam interficerent. Operas killed my freedmen. So thugs killed my freedmen, right? Interficerent, killed, made between, or I think we talked about theoretical ideas ahead about how you get killed from interficerent, but means killed. So Thugs killed my freedman, who recently, Nupers recently, Elam Tabernum Tanebat, he recently was holding, was possessing, was occupying that shop. And this is the best shop? Optimum? Wow. It's the murder house. Maybe Quintus is looking for a deal. All right, so he recently was holding that shop. Am and we in Wainimus mortuum. So in Wainimus along E, right? We came upon, we found him in the street mortuum dead. Right? Mortuum, a first and second adjective modifying him. So of course it takes a second declension ending. The freedman relative clause who was a senex obstinatus, who was a obstinate, stubborn old man, right? So who an old man stubborn was, who was a stubborn old man? Relative clause describing the freedman. What did the freedman do? He noluit, he didn't want, right? Perfect tense from nolo. He didn't want to dare, to give, and they're missing the macron over the A, just imagine it's there. To give money, the accusative, to the dative, to the thugs. Opera eum nekawerin. So thugs killed him. Another word for killed. Can never have too many words for killed in Latin, right? Plenty of gory scenes in Latin literature that you'll see someday. So thugs killed him, and they ransacked the shop. Not bad enough they killed him, they tore his place apart. So surely Quintus, loving his dear friend Clemens, is going to find a safer place for him to live in this strange city after having gone through this horrible disaster at Pompeii. Let's see what happens next. Clemens vir fortis non senex infirmus est. Clemens vir fortis, right? Fortis, a third declension adjective, modifying vir here. There are a lot of third declension adjectives in the nominal singular have is when they're modifying a masculine or a feminine. So Clemens, a strong man, not a weak old man, is. Right? So is kind of going with both of these things, right? So Clemens is a strong man, not a weak old man. Right? So he is a strong man. He is not a weak old man. I responded to Barbilus. Barbillo, of course, dative. I responded to the dative. Well, Clemens isn't afraid of being murdered in the street by a bunch of thugs. You should ask Clemens. Fortuna semper e favit. Fortune always favors him. He's lucky. He won't be killed. So fortune always favors him. Right? Okay, this comes to that is a id pronoun chart we haven't seen completely yet. We have seen this form before, but remember the verb favit? What's special about it? It tells you what case A must be if you don't already know. It has to be dative, right? Favio takes a dative, so A is dative because it's the object of a special verb, you recall. So fortune always favors him. Hunc tabernum clementi amore volo. I want, complementary infinitive, amore, that is third conjugation, short ere. I want to buy the accusative, hunc tabernum, this shop, right? This shop, H words are this or these. This shop, clementi, which of course is dative, so for Clemens. I want to buy this shop for Clemens, he's saying here. Tibi centum arios offero. I offer to you, the dative, Tibi, 100 gold coins. Centum arios, remember centum does not decline, so don't read anything into that ending. It's not really an ending. So I offer 100 gold coins to you. Plaquetne, remember the nay just makes it a question, so is it pleasing? Mihi placet. So object of a special verb here, mihi, remember placet takes a dative, so it's pleasing to me. Respond to Barbilus. 100 gold coins sufficient are enough. They're sufficient. Barbillo igitur centum arios traditi. So the verb is traditi. So I handed over 100 gold coins, therefore, to Barbilus. Right? So I handed over the accusative, the gold coins, to the dative, to Barbilus. All right. So hopefully nothing bad happens to Clemens. If it does, just remember he's not real. Until next time.